Welcome to this week's edition of NASCAR News here on my channel. There is a lot of NASCAR news that we have to go over from last Sunday all the way to right now here on Friday. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it because we have a lot of news to go over. This is going to be really rapid fire quick. Welcome to the episode. So anyway, let's get started. The Kansas TV ratings came out and there was a 0.9 rating and 1.47 million viewers. This was the least watched Cup Series race since 2001. Not very good news there. Unfortunately for Dover, that weekend, on August 21st through 23rd, there will be no fans allowed at Dover due to COVID-19 concerns, which really sucks because some people were probably planning on going to that race. Unfortunately, no fans will be allowed to attend. Here's some awesome news. Mike Wallace is going to be driving the Zero car for Road America and Daytona Road Course. I was very interested to see that because Mike Wallace is not usually a road course stringer, but he's been running a lot of these road course races. Good to see Mike Wallace back on the track, though. Bubba Wallace's All-Star Race bumper sold for over $20,000, bought by CarParts.com, which is one of Michael McDowell's sponsors. It was donated $20,000 to Motor Racing Outreach, but the other bit of that money is going to go to Victory Race Junction, so that's really awesome news there. So far for Texas and Bristol, for those past races, there has been no cases of COVID-19 at those races. Great news there. Honestly, good stuff there and good precautions by Texas and Bristol to make sure fans were able to get in, and we're happy to hear that news. Here's a rumor that was going around. Daytona Roval might have a chicane off of Turn 4 Oval, and there is a good chance there will be a taller spoiler. We'll talk a lot more about that because it would be confirmed later in the week about what the plans are for the Daytona Road Course. Mark Smith, a dirt racer, will drive the Daytona Road Course truck race for Nice Motorsports, which is very shocking as usually dirt drivers don't run road courses as much, but Mark Smith will be racing at the Daytona Road Course. Chase Briscoe will be making his Michelin Pilot Challenge Series return at Road America, getting a little bit more road course experience. Since we are going to Road America for the Xfinity Series and Daytona Road Course, he'll have a little bit more of an advantage going into those races with his experience in the Michelin Pilot Series. James Davison is going to drive the number 53 this weekend at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Good stuff there. I've seen him. He's ran a few races. He's ran all right. He's not wrecked every race. Good to see James Davison continuing to race. Here's some really awesome news if you're a Noah Gragson fan. Bass Pro Shops, True Timber, and Black Life Coffee have added 16 races. Basically, this completes the season and might help him get an opportunity to possibly re-sign with Junior Motorsports. But we'll have to see that in the future. We got a couple sneak peeks from the SRX on Monday morning. We saw single lug nuts and, unfortunately, a splitter. We did get a little bit of a preview later in the week that we'll talk about here later as well. I thought the preview was pretty cool. I still don't think that this is what the car is going to look like. I think they're doing a really good job on marketing and showing these cars, though. Kyle Larson had an interview with Motor Racing Network, and he said he remains interested in a NASCAR comeback, though hasn't explored the options of return to stock cars. He said, well, I've been so busy just racing pretty much every day of the week that I haven't even had time to work on anything, but I would love an opportunity if it came. No doubt that Kyle Larson is a fantastic racer. If you look at his dirt, especially how he's been doing in the dirt series, Kyle Larson has been really tearing it up there, but that doesn't just mean he's going to immediately get a ride. He has to show he has good moral standing, and I think he's shown that too. Everyone thinks he should go to SHR. Well, not everyone thinks. Some people don't think he should go to SHR, but in my personal opinion, I hope he does get a possible opportunity of going to Stewart-Haas Racing in the future. Here's some really awesome news. Brad Doherty is back in the booth. He is going to be joining NBC Sports. He's going to be joining the team as studio analyst for pre- and post-race coverage alongside Dale Jarrett and Kyle Petty. He will also be joining the broadcast booth at select races in the Xfinity Series. Great to see Brad Doherty back. It feels like ESPN is kind of coming back to NBC. See some of the people that were from ESPN. Mike Massaro at one point was there. He's unfortunately not there anymore at NBC. But you got people that worked in ESPN in the past that are coming back to NBC. Great stuff there. Brad Doherty, I think, is going to be really fun to watch, especially since he's been kind of struggling this year. Great to see that Brad Doherty is going to be back in the booth. Here's some interesting news. NASCAR has told the industry they've been barred from dining in at New Hampshire restaurants and bars for the New Hampshire weekend. All travel is limited to New Hampshire Motor Speedway and a hotel. Now, here's something also to know. They can get carry out. They can get this up and delivered to the hotel. So at least they're going to be found. They'll probably bring personal chefs to the hotels, of course, but that's very interesting to know. On to the next story. Jimmie Johnson on Tuesday had his IndyCar test, and he had a very interesting quote that he said after the test. It only lit the fire more. I want to do this more than ever more. It was something new, something different. NASCAR has been so good to me, and I'm so proud of the success I've had. But to try something new, man, this was really cool. He is determined to race road and street courses in 2021, and he also stated there's a chance that he will probably race Indy 500 as early as 2022 if sponsorship lines up for him, of course. We'll talk a little bit more about this here. I think Jimmie Johnson will run the IndyCar Series next year. I think he will run. There's two teams I'm looking at, Chip Ganassi and McLaren. I still think leaning more toward he's going to run with McLaren next year. So I think Chip Ganassi is going to be filled up with the three talents of Scott Dixon, Felix Rosenqvist, and Marcus Ericsson. So I think all three of those drivers have performed really well, and Chip Ganassi has been the top dog this year. But people are probably saying, Jimmie Johnson's going to come into this series and he's ultimately going to win right away. And that's simply not true. You look how really good the field is currently at the moment. There's a lot of drivers who can win on a week-to-week basis. Pretty much all the field could win a race. Look at Colton Herta is doing this year. Scott Dixon, Marcus Ericsson I just mentioned, Felix Rosenqvist. Connor Daly had a fantastic run at Iowa. There's so many factors to this. Jimmie Johnson won't immediately win, but I really don't know if he is going to win an IndyCar race, but I hope that he does get to run, especially Indy 500. If he does maybe run it next year, but I still think 2022 is most likely the earliest. He is going to run the Indianapolis 500, but I think if he does run it, I'm really excited for that. On to the next story. We're going to talk a little bit more about midweek races. Steve Phelps did talk to Adam Stern and says the NASCAR recognizes that ratings for midweek races have been lower than what the sport usually gets on weekends, but too early to say where there will be some in 2021. He also said, do I think it's the last midweek race we'll ever have in NASCAR? I don't think so. Personally, I think why midweek races have not been as popular as they could be is because they've been happening on the lower networks of NBC Sports Network and Fox Sports 1. If these races were televised on the main networks of Fox and NBC, I think your ratings would be a lot higher than if they were on the smaller networks. I think the reason the ratings have been so bad also because baseball's back. Of course, on Thursday was opening night. There were a couple games going on then, which kind of affect the outcome of those ratings. But it was on Thursday, and there were people who didn't even know that there was a cup race happening Thursday night. Real Rabbit even said he didn't even know there was a race going on till like an hour after. So I just don't know what they're going to do about midweek races. Personally, in my opinion, I think there should be two midweek races next year. One for the regular season and one for the All-Star race right after the MLB All-Star game, because Matt Weaver has said that there's nothing that happens after the MLB All-Star game. There should team up with the MLB in this instance and have the All-Star race the day after at Bristol Motor Speedway. Of course, the All-Star race needs to be longer, in my opinion, but they should have it after the All-Star race. That's my opinion on the midweek races. You guys can tell me in the comments below what your thoughts are on that. Goodyear is bringing the tire compounds used at Phoenix to New Hampshire Motor Speedway this weekend for the Cup race. If that's the case, the race is honestly going to be really, really fun to watch in New Hampshire. On to the next story. We're going to be talking about some things. Remember when NASCAR announced the pit procedures for the standalone races earlier this year? I bet a lot of you forgot about that, but I didn't. But basically, they announced there's a lot to go over in these pit procedures, so stick with me on this one. NASCAR has modified the pit road procedures for the Truck Series race at Worldwide Technology Raceway, as well as the pit road procedures for Road America in a couple weeks from now. So here are the pit road procedures. All caution periods will be quickie yellows. So for those who don't know, lap cars and lead lap cars will pit on the same time, speeds up the caution. No changing tires except during stage race, but if you have a flat tire, NASCAR are working on that. They will help you on that. So unless you have a flat tire, you get penalized and go to the back. Fuel may be added at any time. The three stages, 55, 110, 160. During stage cautions, teams may perform any normal pit stop adjustments. Back to the stages. It'll be lap 55, lap 110, 160, just so you guys don't get confused. If teams choose not to pick, the trucks will stop behind the caution truck on the back strip. So all the trucks that do not pit will stop behind the caution truck. When instructed, teams will have 3 minutes to make all their adjustments. If they don't meet that, they will go to the tail end of the longest line, which I think that's a pretty fair penalty, to be honest with you. Trucks that pit will stop behind trucks that stay out, which means lead lap cars, tail end cars, cars with damage. They will stand behind everybody. So they will start behind. So they're going to have some work to do to get back up, and I think the competition will get very interesting. It's going to make it very interesting because those guys that do pit, and it's going to cost strategy as well, those guys that do pit during those cautions are going to have a lot of ground to make up, and I think it's going to make the racing a lot better. And finally, all safety equipment is required during pit stops. So there's your pit procedure guideline for Worldwide Technology Raceway Gateway. Also, I believe it will be the season opener for the Truck Series. The Trucks have got a few races they need to make up, so I don't know what they're going to do. They'll possibly add some races, maybe some double headers for the Truck Series. Who really knows? On to the next thing. Paul Tracy is the third driver to be announced in the XRS. He will be joining Tony Stewart and Tony Kanaan in the XRS. He's confirmed the third driver of 12 drivers that will be racing. Great to see Paul Tracy joining the XRS. Here's a pretty shocking story. Cole Pearn is going to be the lead engineer for Connor Daly at the Indianapolis 500. I thought Cole Pearn was done with racing. Guess not. Really cool to see there. I think Cole Pearn could honestly give Connor Daly a really good shot at winning this race. Cole Pearn was a fantastic crew chief, great engineer at Furniture Row Racing. He helped Mark Truex Jr. lead into a championship in 2017 and nearly led into his second championship last season. I think Connor Daly could have a really good shot, especially since Ed Carpenter Racing in general seems to a lot of times be really fast during this weekend. There's a chance that Connor Daly could win his first ever IndyCar race possibly and get his first ever. Connor Daly has a really good shot at winning, honestly. I think with Cole Pearn being in that organization, I think he could lead Connor Daly to a chance to win the 500. So that's really good stuff here. And I wish Cole Pearn the best of luck, and hopefully he can lead Connor Daly to a really fantastic run. General Tire will be bringing rain tires for the ARCA Daytona road course race in case it does end up raining. Good stuff there. We also got another SRX preview later in the week. We got a shorter splitter and a valence coming to the car. Now, this isn't confirmed. I think, once again, they're using it for marketing purposes for the SRX. We don't even know what the car is going to look like. I think they're doing it as a way to get talk for the SRX. Traction content will be put down at New Hampshire on Sunday morning for the Cup race. Yay, more trash content because we need more of that. Let's talk now about the random draw system. Eric Almirola is drawing the pole for New Hampshire. The random draw. Few drivers have been getting lucky. Eric Almirola is one of them, and Jimmie Johnson has been getting screwed over. Jimmie Johnson has drawn 20th place and 8th place. In his fourth race in a row, he's drawn 20th place. Can we just go back to qualifying and practice at this one? I'm tired of the random draw, in my opinion. It seems like the same drivers are getting benefited from the random draw, and the same drivers keep getting screwed. Christopher Bell's another guy keeps getting screwed. Christopher Bell's starting 35th, I think, in the race, and he's faster than so many guys in front of him. How does Matt Kenseth have more points than Christopher Bell? How does that make any sense? The 22 is not performing as good as Christopher Bell's been recently. But I digress, the random draw is a thing. But I think at this point with the random draw, again, I just want the random draw to be gone, to be honest with you. Especially now. Like I said, I don't think the random draw system is rigged, but I do think that the random draw system needs to be changed. Now, they have said for the playoffs that they are going to change it, but I think that the random draw shouldn't just affect the outcome of a race. Because especially now, the guys that are in the top 10 in these races, they instantly possibly get screwed, because especially since New Hampshire is a tough track to pass at, the guys that are outside of that top 10 are going to have such a difficult time getting up there, especially guys, that are far down the field or possibly trying to make it in on points. Granted, there's only 2 or 3 guys who are outside the playoffs that probably could make it in on points at this particular moment. I just think the random draw, in my opinion, we need to change this up. I just don't know why we can't have 30, 45 minutes of practice. I don't understand why we can't have it. That's just my opinion on the random draw. NASCAR has changed the wording of a rule that can result in an in-race penalty from aggressive driving to reckless driving. So that's pretty interesting that they changed that rule because, again, we've seen a lot of that, especially in Xfinity Series. We've seen a lot of drivers be reckless out there. Noah Grayson's caused a lot of wrecks. I like Noah, but for real, dude, you've had a lot of on-track incidents with a lot of drivers. And now we get into possibly the biggest story of all the stories that have come out. Daytona road course details. I said at the beginning of the video that there were some Daytona road course possibilities that were going to come out. We got the big news on the Daytona road course. As expected, NASCAR is going to add a chicane for Daytona road course race coming off of turn number 4, which is going to be a turtle. It's going to be the turtle chicanes they use at the Charlotte Roval. There will be a 750 horsepower package, but with higher downforce splitter and spoiler. Drivers cannot run in multiple events for the weekend, and here are the stage lengths and the races. So the Truck Series is going to be 12 laps for the first stage, 13 laps for the second stage, and 19 laps for the final stage, making that a 44-lap race for the Truck Series. The Xfinity Series race will have two 15-lap stages for the first two and a 22-lap stage for the final, making that a 52-lap race. And then the Cup Series will have two 15-lap stages and a 35-lap stage on the final one, making that a think that is a 65-lap race for the Cup race. Oh boy, let's get into this talk. Yeah, I have no problem with the turtle chicanes being added for Daytona road course. No problem with that since we are running a 750 horsepower package. But why are we running a high downforce package when the chicane... I thought the reason they added the chicane was because they're running the we're running the higher downforce, running with the higher speeds. Like, you can run the low downforce package because now it's going to be really difficult to pass. Either this race is going to be a barn burner, it's going to be a good one, or it's going to be a really bad race. There's no really in between, in my opinion. You're either going to have a good one or a bad one. And I'm getting bad vibes of the 2019 Watkins Glen race because the race wasn't really that great. It was very difficult to pass, and I feel very like that this race could end up being similar. I'm just scared that the race is going to end up like that. And again, why are they running? Because they've never really ran on this race. Granted, they are running on the sim on iRacing for this, but I just don't know why we can't run with the higher down, like the lower downforce package. Like, NASCAR, can we please go to low downforce at this point? There's no reason why we shouldn't be running low downforce. It really just doesn't make any sense to me why we're running high downforce at this track when it's going to be hard to pass. And again, I'm afraid someone could get... The reason they added chicanes are going so fast, and I get that, makes sense. And it's a taller spoiler, the big-ass spoilers, possibly even bigger than the giant-ass spoilers. But I'm just afraid that the race isn't really going to be that great. I'm scared now that it could end up being a big disaster. Whether it's a disaster that there's going to be a lot of wrecks, someone could get seriously hurt, or it's just going to be a boring race. I'm just afraid that Daytona road course race now isn't going to be that great. The sponsor for that race, Gold Bowling, is going to sponsor Daytona road courses. It'll be called the Gold Bowling 235. Good stuff there. Now on to the next thing, the 2021 NASCAR schedule. We got a little bit more of details for that. According to Adam Stern, the 2021 NASCAR schedule could come out as early as August, per sources. And this is what Steve Phelps said. So, honestly, I don't think that the schedule is going to come out till late August, early September. We already know some of the changes that are coming to the 2021 NASCAR schedule. The Daytona road course that we're running this weekend, we will be running that for the Busch Clash. That's going to be where the race is taking place. We also have Speed Weeks is now just Speed Week due to Super Bowl happening the week before the race. They basically condensed it into a whole week where the Clash is on Tuesday, qualifying is on Wednesday for the Cup Series, and then the duels, and then the Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup Series for that weekend. We also know that Nashville is going to be taking place of one of the Dover races, possibly being the May race. We also do know that Phoenix is going to be the championship race. I do expect there to be some of the things we've seen this year. I would not be surprised if Bristol does get moved to late May. I think that would be better for the race. You're also not possibly running into rain showers taking place as frequent as that. I do expect, like I said, some of the changes taking place for the schedule. I don't expect it to be insane. I also expect there to be possibly one or two new racetracks added schedule. Worldwide Technology has been mentioned, and possibly Chicagoland could end up losing their race, but we'll have to see what happens there for the 2021 NASCAR schedule, because honestly, who really knows what's going to happen? We'll find that out here, especially since the rest of the 2020 schedule with the playoffs. We don't know what's going on with that. We've heard rumors that next week could come out. That I've been hearing for the 2020 NASCAR schedule. What I've been hearing is that there is a chance that they're going to flop Texas and Las Vegas due to COVID-19 concerns, because Texas is one of the hot areas of the COVID-19 virus currently at the moment. There is a very good chance that that race could end up getting swapped. And now we get into the final story that was reported this morning. Another Adam Stern bomb. Bubba Wallace and his reps are exploring his team options for 2021. And while a Richard Petty Motorsports return is one of them, another possibility that has emerged is with Chip Ganassi Racing and McDonald's. What's very interesting is McDonald's is also partnered with Chip Ganassi Racing, but are also partnered with Bubba Wallace. So there is a very good possibility that Bubba Wallace could come over to that organization. Of course, he would have to get the signings with like Clover and possibly Monster Energy and all those, but I wouldn't be surprised if they would be able to sponsor Bubba Wallace as well. But if Bubba Wallace goes to Chip Ganassi Racing and takes over that 42 car, man, the silly season is going to end up getting shaken up. Because, to be honest with you, everyone thinks Ross Chastain is going to go to the 42 car next year. But with this report coming out from Adam Stern, that's also interesting because he's replacing a guy, who's said the N-word, very interesting if they would sign up. I wouldn't be completely surprised if they possibly would sign Bubba Wallace. Anything's possible. It's 2020, but man, Bubba Wallace possibly going to, Chip Ganassi Racing, not going to RPM. That's surprising. So, I don't know, if Bubba Wallace doesn't return to the Richard Petty Motorsports next year, who goes to the 43? Maybe like Daniel Suarez? Who really knows who's going to go there? Maybe Ryan Preece goes there? I don't know, because Ryan Preece might be leaving the 37 team. Everything is out the window. 2020 has been one of the craziest NASCAR seasons, and the fact that Bubba Wallace has a possible chance, this is just a rumor, but there's a possibility that Bubba Wallace, and this is reported by Adam Stern, the fact that this is a very, very, very high possibility of happening for the 2021 NASCAR season is crazy. Everything is insane, and if it's cool, if Bubba gets in there, he'll make the playoffs and probably even win a race, because while that equipment hasn't been as good this year, I think that Bubba Wallace is a very good, capable driver of performing extremely well at that organization. So, yeah, that is all the NASCAR news I have in this episode. Man, a lot of stuff happened over the weekend. We had to basically spam that. So, anyway, that is all the news I have for you guys today. So, anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Turn notifications so you can be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Links in the description below for that. And comment on your thoughts on today's video. What did you think about Cole Pearn possibly going and possibly giving Conor Daly a chance to win the Indy 500? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about Daytona road course changes? Do you like them or not? Let me know in the comments below. And what do you think about the possibility of Bubba Wallace going to Chip Ganassi Racing for the 2021 NASCAR season? Let me know in the comments below. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. And I will see you guys next time for another great video. Take care, everybody.